We are going live, and who's ready for a little lunch and learn? I got a lot on my mind today. Want to share it with you. So would you do me a favor and just say hello in the comments box, whether you're watching on Facebook, whether you're watching on LinkedIn, make sure that you can hear me well. I'm also interested if you can hear the shutters rattling. It's very windy due to a tropical storm that's kind of attacking Florida. And in this room, I have some storm shutters on, and occasionally they rattle. So I'm really liking this challenge of the windy day and recording a lunch and learn. So let's say hello. Let's see who's out there today. And also, I'd love to take your questions. Oftentimes, especially in the last few weeks, I've been getting a lot of questions on Google My Business. It seems to be a continual issue. Today, I want to talk about three things that are on my mind, which is automated market price reductions on vehicles, what we've learned during COVID, a couple other ideas on GMB and SEO, moving them together. So, okay, come on. We got a Twitter listener from the UK. Thank you. Thank you so much, Eric. All right. I also have the shutters rattling. Well, there we go. It must be a common problem. Ashley, good morning. Okay, no shutters. Great. It's windy in Minnesota. Christy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for commenting. All right, so let's get right into it. I want to challenge everyone. Now an echo. Windy. Oh, so do you feel a little echo? Does anybody else hear an echo? Not sure why we would have an echo. Miami here. Come on, Miami in the house. I'm in Wellington right now. We moved recently into Boca Raton. So Eric, we'll have to get together for a cup of coffee. Ashley says, yes, an echo. I'm wondering what that echo would be from. Let me think about that. There's only one input on the mic. Interesting. Is it a bad echo? Peter, good morning. Yes, it just started. Wow, that's weird. Let me just check real quick. A strange echo. Let me just see what that possibly could be. Let me look at my microphone settings. Audio. Echo cancellation is on. I don't even know what echo cancellation. Why would that even be the case? So automatically adjust mic volume. Okay. All right. I took off echo cancellation. I don't even know what that means. Okay. Let's see if I just changed some settings. Let's see if anything is better. I've never seen that echo cancellation happening. Brandon's not hearing an echo. Erica, yes, it just started. Give me some feedback. Is the echo gone? That's what I'd love to see. I'm waiting for some comments, right? Remember, the live stream is just slightly delayed, so I don't know if we're solving the problem or creating more problems. So give me your feedback. Is the echo gone? That's what we need to know. Let me think. Come on, give me some feedback. I'm waiting for the stream to come through. Well, I'm going to assume, oh, it's still there. Okay, I'm going to go back to this odd audio settings. Evermedia, that's fine. That's the way it should be. Default Evermedia and internal speakers, right? That's fine. And echo cancellation, I'll just put echo cancellation on. I have no idea what that would be. Okay, here we go. Let's get started. I want to talk to everyone who has made some observations during COVID about gross margins and the profitability of dealers. If you're like most dealers, let's say May, June, July, August, and into September, margins were awesome. And if you really are a student of the business, what you found out is that there was an increase in demand lots of reasons. People were leaving the cities. They didn't have a car. They needed a car. The suburbs, the housing boom, the construction boom. But here's an important thing. We had the demand, so we held gross. And for many dealers, at least here in the United States, we've become accustomed to marking down vehicles on a calendar. So you price the vehicle when it first comes out as a market price. And then after it's been around for 2 weeks, if there hasn't been much activity, you lower the price. And then if it's there for another 2 weeks, you lower the price. And what that means basically is that dealers think that price is the only lever to sell a car. But what we learned during COVID, it wasn't the only lever. It was really demand. And one of the things we're going to be talking about next week is challenging thousands of dealers who are using tools to tell them to mark down their inventory to turn. The alternative is, what if you could generate specific demand on that vehicle? Instead of marking down a vehicle $400 and then another $400 and then, well, it's marked down $1,000 from where you started. The car effectively didn't change over that 30 or 45 days. It's just that in your mindset, price was your only lever. What if I showed you that if you took a third of that money or half of that money in markdowns and target it for demand generation, you would be able to simulate year-round what everyone observed during COVID. Let me say that again. COVID taught dealers that they could significantly increase gross because there was so much demand. And now demand in some parts of the country are starting to slow. And as a result of that slowing, they're going to go back to their normal thinking. It's all about price. But what if there were new ways to create targeted demand for each vehicle? What if you were able to recreate the COVID demand impact instead of price being your only lever? And I want to share with you that next week, I'm doing a workshop with Len Short, Jason Rice from Lot Pop, and Thomas Gage, and we're going to be sharing some really impactful data. I believe it's going to challenge dealers who just have an automatic markdown strategy. Now, Jason Rice is an amazing guy in this product. Lot Pop really helps dealers to turn their inventory. Obviously, he makes sure that dealers have great photos and great descriptions and a market-based price, meaning the fundamentals have to be there. But when I asked Jason, okay, what happens if the car hasn't sold after 2 weeks? He says, well, we look at the amount of engagement that's on the vehicle. And if there's not a lot of engagement, then we would recommend lowering the price. And I said, well, what about increasing the demand? You see, a lot of the tools, the market pricing tools, they only have one lever, and that lever is reduce price. And I understand the thinking about it, but we never had more granular tools. We didn't have data targeting at the VIN level so precise that we have today. So I want to encourage everyone who's listening to today and who will be participating next week at the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit. If price is your only lever under normal circumstances, I'm not talking for the last 3 or 4 months. If price is your only lever to move cars, I'm going to challenge you that you're leaving millions of dollars a year on the table. If you're a dealer group, that is not a hyperbole. Dealers are making 1 million price adjustments per week on new cars and 1 million price adjustments on used cars per week. And everyone's following the same playbook, which is if there's no visible demand, the only option is to make the car cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And I'm going to challenge you that new data, new tools are going to allow you to hold gross. How much? On average, about $400 to $500 more per car. Does anybody want that? Let me just see. I don't know if that door is doing anything, but does anybody who's watching today's Lunch and Learn, would you like to be able to maintain another $400 to $500 per vehicle throughout the year? I know that's like a stupid question. Well, of course you would. Well, then that's another reason why you need to register for the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit next week. It's 3 days. And the data is just so compelling that if we learned anything from COVID, dealers have been the most profitable they've ever been is because demand increased. And today with tools, and just instead of spraying and praying, spraying and praying, spray and praying, then why wouldn't you focus on demand generation? Meaning every dealer should know your average markdown per vehicle, okay? And here's what dealers are gonna tell you. Yeah, when we put a car on the lot, by the time it sells, our average markdown is between $700 and $1,000. So what if I told you, let's just use the $1,000. What if I told you, you keep half, you keep half and create demand generation with the other half, and you sell the car more profitably and more to your bottom line? Christy says, oh, my dealers want that. Yes, but it's going to take dealers who want to be data-driven. You know, tools like vAuto and other market pricing tools revolutionized the industry by using market data to talk about what's a market fair price of the car. But that's where they stop. How do you do demand generation to connect that car that's priced to market with the right buyer? And that's one of the topics I wanted to share with you. What if your scheduled markdown policy is hurting your bottom line? What if you step back and looked at that and said, well, I do that because price is my only lever. And I'm going to challenge you that price isn't your only lever, period. Now, I want to talk a little bit about GMB. So I'm going to share a screen for a minute here. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, can everyone see that screen for Vera Cadillac? Okay. So I do some work for Richard Gonzalez at Vera Cadillac and Vera Buick GMC. They are in Pembroke Pines, Florida. And can everyone see that screen? So what you should notice that under departments, you'll see that they have, their parts department and their service department. And I really want you to understand that now that dealers are realizing they need 3 Google My Business listings, let's go to their service center. And this is obviously their collision center is, on here as well, right? So let me just go to the listing, hold on. And let me click on the auto repair center. Okay, great. So 11 reviews. Obviously, I would like it to be obviously more. And notice it says located in Vera Cadillac. I'm going to click back. There's Vera Cadillac, and I can go to the parts store, and there's the parts listing. Okay, notice it says located in Vera Cadillac. Okay. Now, what you should know is behind the scenes, right? And you all know this, right? Behind the scenes, there are 10 categories that you can describe each Google My Business listing with, okay? So you have 10 categories for sales, 10 categories for service, 10 categories for parts. What I'm realizing is when you do a search, an organic search, Google now is referencing content that they find on the Google My Business listing, and that matches on the website. Now, I wonder, is there any Ford dealers, Chevy dealers, or Chrysler dealers on today's live stream? If you are, let me just remind you, on your service listing, there's a category called diesel engine repair and diesel engine mechanic, but diesel engine repair is a good category. Is there anyone who is a Chevy dealer, a Ford dealer, or Chrysler dealer? I want you to really lean in. I want you to really lean in on this, because the problem is with your service listing, and let's just go back to the, so Brandon, let's watch this. So when you go to the auto repair center behind the scenes here, behind the scenes are 10 categories, okay? Now, let's go to the website. Okay, and so here is the Vera Cadillac website. And what I want you to do is see the service and parts. Now it looks cleverly that there's only 7 pages, 8 pages here, but let's go to auto repair services and take a look. Brake servicing, transmission service, replacement tires, oil change service, wheel alignment. Oh, do you see what I see here? That this matches the categories on the Google My Business listing. Oh, and then hold on. What does that mean though? Oh, each one of these are a separate page. And of course it looks very nice in mobile responsive design as well. Okay. But here's my point. Do you have dedicated content pages for each of those Google My Business listings that list 10 categories? Okay, so if you're going to pick transmission shop or transmission service, do you have a page that's dedicated for that? I bring this up is because when let me go back to my screen here. When you start to do fixed ops services, I want you to see there's this interesting marriage going on. Like if you type in a year, make, model now in Google, if you type in transmission shop or watch diesel engine repair, on the Google My Business listings, they will mention transmission repair found on website, meaning inside the Google My Business block. So let's do it. Let's just do it. And let's do a little search. I think I have to do it in this window. Okay, hold on. And it's a little hard doing both here. Google. Okay. All right, so let me change the focus and go right to here. Okay, let's go back to the Google window, the Google machine. And let's do transmission shop Pembroke Pines. Okay. Here we go. Do you see these little snippets now? A snippet from a review and a snippet from a review. There's also now snippets that say website mentions. Okay, so let's do Brazilian blowout in Boca Raton. If I can force this. Yes, you see this? Blowout Parlor is a client of Lo Caliente. See, this says their website mentions Brazilian blowout. You see, there's no category called Brazilian blowout, but it does know in search that I set this up as a salon and that the website had content that promoted, listen, that promoted this Google My Business listing higher. Is anybody getting excited? What I'm seeing is that if you want to fully maximize your Google My Business for sales, your Google My Business for service, your Google My Business for parts, it would make sense to have dedicated pages for each of those 10 categories that you picked. So here's another example. You are a car dealer, a used car dealer, a truck dealer, a used truck dealer. Okay, do you have any pages on your website that are optimized for truck dealer in your town or used truck dealer in your town? For most dealers, I don't. I mentioned that in your service listing, if you're a Ford, Chevy, or Chrysler dealer, diesel engine repair is important. How about this? If you're in Arizona or Florida, auto air conditioning repair or service is a category. Do you have a dedicated page on your website that talks about your auto air conditioning repair service? So here's what I'm seeing. When we claim sales, service, parts for a dealer and merge them, The next piece is to create 10 pages on the website for sales that match, 10 pages on the website for service that match, and 10 pages for parts that match. Most dealers' specials pages are one run-on, page with little coupons, with very little text, with very little optimization. But here's what I'm finding. Now that each GMB listing can be fully merchandised, what will these pages also allow you to do? I want you to think about this. Dealers are told to put posts on their website, their GMB each month. And for fixed ops, typically what dealers do, if you were like a Buick GMC dealer like Vera or a Cadillac dealer, there's only one page on that website in the default Synchro website. It's just one page with all little coupons. There's no way to land someone on a specific coupon. So here's what you can do. Your monthly posts, which could be your transmission service offer or your air conditioning offer, do you see now that you can drive them directly to these dedicated pages? Meaning, Google My Business, you pick 10 categories, so you start doing posts about those 10 categories. Those 10 categories and those posts now can link to a dedicated page on your website, and that page can be optimized. So if you pick diesel engine repair, you could do a post, hey, we're doing a special on diesel engine service or oil change. It can go to the diesel engine repair or servicing page, and you can have a link to the current coupon or promotion. If you wanted to go even another level, once a month, you could update those pages. But here's what I want you to see. There is absolutely more clear evidence that the GMB listing, which is already your #1 local search tool, in addition to those 10 categories, is looking to find content on the website. Here's a few other examples. I do different search tests in different markets, and I did something like, Ford F-150 or a 2012 Ford F-150, and a Mercedes-Benz GMB showed up in the 3-pack, and here's what it said. Found for 2012 Ford F-150 on their website. Hold on. Is Google getting a little smarter? That just because someone goes in and claims that they offer these 10 services, if there's nothing on their website that can support it, will they maybe not show up for it? And I think that's the case. Meaning the dealers that my agency, PCG Digital, is creating these dedicated fixed ops pages, dedicated sales pages, dedicated parts pages for, what's happening is we're seeing the service and parts listing impression visibility grow. And I think it's because dealers have never thought that these 10 categories really have anything to do with what's on their website, but it's so important. I mean, let's just say, does your dealership have a page for car accessories or truck accessories? You probably don't. Yet it's one of the 10 categories that most dealers pick in their GMB for sales. Do you have a page that's really talking about leasing and financing? You may have finance specials, but do you have a real page that's talking about auto leasing and finance? Now, some dealers do, some dealers don't, but it's one of the categories you pick in the sales listing. So Tony said, should we place our oil change coupon on the landing page? I know, yes, of course. But here's my thought. By at least starting by saying, the 10 categories I pick for sales and the 10 categories I pick for service and the 10 categories I pick for parts, I'm going to have dedicated landing pages for. Now, I'm going to show you something which I call false friends, and I think it's going to help you understand why this works. One thing, Brian, I agree 100%. If you want to drive local traffic that converts into actual leads, GMB optimization and SEO should go hand in hand. Absolutely. That's why if you looked at some of those pages, the call to action, right, says, hey, you can call us at the number above, you can message us, or if you prefer, schedule online. Now, there's other tricks and tools, whether you're using some conversational commerce to make it even more effective. I can't go into everything on a quick lunch and learn, but I want to show you something. And Tony and George, thank you for chiming up. Is there anybody watching that doubts adding 10, 20, or 30 pages on your website can make a difference? I mean, just be honest. I mean, would it be a hard sell? Would it be a hard sell to the general manager to say, look, I'm going to call up PCG. I'm going to have Brian's team build 10 pages for sales, 10 pages for service, 10 pages for parts. We're going to really get serious about GMB. And they're like, that SEO stuff doesn't work. Does anybody get that pushback? And here's what I want to show you. I call it the false friend exposure, right? I'm going to expose a false friend. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go full screen on the Google page now. And let me do this. So I'm going to use the site command, SITE, right? And then I'm going to do www.veracadillac.com. Let's see if that worked. Okay, this is what I want everyone to see. Do you see that it says Google has 1,060 pages indexed? Does everyone see that? I mean, it's very important that you understand. Go ahead and do the site command for your dealership. Do the site command. How many pages? How many pages does your site command show? Tony says, for sure, it will make a difference in my workload. Tony, we're trying to build stronger local search so we don't have to spend so much money on paid advertising. I know you're just giving me a hard time. I think of you all the time, by the way. And I give you credit for cleaning up my onstage language the most. That and the Holy Spirit, of course. So do your site command, right? SITE : and just put in your home page. How many pages did the site command show for your dealership? Go ahead and do it. And then in the comments, tell me how many pages that site command generated. It's very important that we debunk this, because you darn know well that you don't have 1,000 pages on your website. Some of you are going to show 2,000 pages. Some of you are going to show 3,000 pages. I mean, I've seen over 10,000 pages, but I want to see what your specific choices are. Now, I want to go ahead and debunk this for a minute. If you scroll down, you start to scroll down, what are these pages? Initially, it's static pages, initially. And then what you're going to find out after the static pages, you're going to see that you're going to get different versions of the SRP. That's what starts happening. And you'll start seeing that the pages, see, vehicle search results, vehicle search results, vehicle search results, vehicle search result. Uh-oh. Now, why is this the case? Let's go into the page. Let's go into the page. And you may not have ever thought of this before, so let me zoom into it. Come on, how many people did the site command? Don't get me cranky. Now, here's what I want you to see. You see all these check boxes on the side? Like when you check this, it creates a different URL. Look at the top of the screen. Look, well, you probably can't see it. Every time you click these, it creates a different URL. Is it a new page? Not really. But see all these type of checkboxes? Well, what is happening? Well, let me tell you. Google's indexing every one of those paths. Look, so Travis Barrage, hey Travis, how are you? 968, 1380, 874, 1420. Thank you, Travis. I want you to understand it's a false friend. Some dealers show me, Brian, Google has 3,000 pages indexed in there. You know, what is 10 pages going to do? And I'm like, hold on. The average dealer has less than 20 static pages. That means pages that have text that Google respects, meaning your finance form is an iframe, your service scheduler is an iframe, your trade-in tool, typically an iframe. So outside of your home page, you know, you have the About Us and the Hours and Directions page, and maybe a general service page and a finance page. I mean, the average dealer has a multi-million-dollar business and they only have 20 static pages because the rest of the pages change all the time. It's just like a turnstile. Cars come in, cars go out. Cars come in, cars go out. Cars come in, cars go out. And for a lot of the website platforms, each of those SRPs are minimally optimized for SEO. Some of the better platforms, every time they change the search criteria, the page title and the meta description changes, but others don't. So what ends up happening is dealers really don't have thousands of index pages. They have 20, maybe 30 max static pages, and all the rest is just a merry-go-round. So it should start to now make sense why Cars.com and Carfax and Auto Trader and Car Gurus and KBB and Edmunds crush it for year, make, model, or more importantly, make, model searches in your own town. Go ahead, just do make, model, do Ford Explorer Miami. You'll see that you probably won't see one local dealer on page 1 in organic. Why? Because no one told the dealer you should have evergreen pages for make, model. That never change. Just make, model. Forget year, make, model. Make, model. So if you're a Toyota dealer and you have 20 different models, you should have 20 evergreen pages that's make, model, optimized for your city. But no one's telling this to dealers, so they think they have thousands of pages. In the case of Travis there, average probably 1,000, 1,100 pages. So if you go to the dealer principal or general manager and say, look, we could really make a difference with 10 or 20 pages, like, no, we got thousands of pages. Like, no. All those hundreds of pages are just versions of an SRP that have no content, just relative crawling. So this is going to be some breakthroughs for dealers who really want to reduce their advertising costs in 2021, leaning in with a more coordinated website content and GMB strategy. So I've challenged my team at PCG Digital to kind of rewrite what we do for SEO for 2021. That includes not just claiming sales, service, and parts, not optimizing them and posting. A lot of people claim to do that, but no one's really now deconstructing the site command and really working on building what I'm going to call evergreen static pages on the dealer's website to support what they claimed in GMB and to support local search. George says 10 pages, unique, authoritative content that answers the specific need for a specific type of searcher. Absolutely, will absolutely make a difference. And that's the dealer's local edge. Absolutely. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You're not going to hear it from the third-party portals because they dominate that space. They don't want dealers to be figuring that out. And first of all, it's very difficult to try to replace any third-party portal. They have way too much traffic, way too much content. Sites like Cars.com have amazing editorial teams. So I expect Cars.com to show up for make, model, or your make, model. But why isn't local dealer, when their town is in the search, when their own town, why aren't they showing up? And the answer is because no one told them that they need to build evergreen content, that evergreen content should be supported in GMB, because GMB is now checking the website to seeing if they can find something of authority on the website that matches the categories. And of course, we're going to be talking about that specific topic a couple times next week at the AAA Summit. I'm doing a workshop with Tim Martell, also known as the SEO Animal, on GMB. How do we fix it? Okay, so that's going to be a really fun and important thing. I'm also doing a Google Analytics measurement and engagement workshop. We have a couple really smart people joining me, but I'm going to make sure that dealers' websites are set up to measure this lift in conversion, to measure this lift in engagement. That's really important, as well. Now, there's going to be tons of other content. Tim Martell is doing his own workshop. Colleen from Synchro is going to be doing a GMB and analytics workshop. So if you really care about organic search, you really should make sure you're registered for the AAA Summit. It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Tony asked a question, doesn't evergreen get stale? And I'm going to say no. And I'm going to prove that to you. Listen, when you're talking about a specific product that really doesn't change, like for example, I just installed a undersink reverse osmosis water filter from a company called APEC, APEC. And that model number is like PM, 90B or whatever. If that's what you're looking for, and that's the model number. If people go to that page, Tony, and don't bounce, meaning that there's information on that page, and I think George hit it, that helps answer the questions that consumers want. Google's saying, hey, there's a great place. That page could have been created a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So if you're in Miami and you're a Ford dealer and you create a page, Ford F-150 Miami, okay, that page is really can be set up as evergreen. It can have great content, and then you can add to the bottom of that page the current inventory, right? So it always stays fresh from a crawl, but the top content, meaning it's just not an SRP, it's actually a great page, and that you could add some dynamic scrolling. Most VDP or page building tools allow you to import inventory dynamically. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but remember, you don't have anything on your website. So like talking about getting stale, the average dealer has less than 20 evergreen pages on their website, and most of them are the home page, the hours and directions page, the about us page, the basic service page, and then they start to say, well, why aren't I showing up in local search? And I'm saying, well, because you have no investment in content, and so you just pay your way to get to the top through Google SEM. So don't worry about stale. Dealers don't even have anything on their websites really to get stale. And I will show you that on certain searches, I can pull up in Google articles that I wrote 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Why? Because in that local market or for that local keyword, no one else is writing about it. So what I'm saying is I don't expect dealers to show up for Ford F-150 nationally, no. But if my market is Miami, I bet when you typed in Ford F-150 Miami, I bet there's not a single franchise dealer organically on that page. I bet it's Cars.com, Auto Trader, Car Gurus, because they just have a turnstile of inventory. That's the pages. So I wanted to just make sure we do a lunch and learn today to talk about the challenge of holding more gross on the average of between $400 and $500 a car if you stopped using price as your only lever and you worked on demand generation. Number two, there's been a number of breakthroughs in GMB and website connections that reinforce that local search. There was an article the other day posted, a question. John Goshok asked the question, is automotive SEO dead? And I'm like, no, it's not dead. It's really been upgraded. Google My Business is a really big part of automotive SEO today. Content never grows old. And I'm not a big fan of blogging on a dealer's website because typically the articles that are being written don't have a purpose. I do like building authoritative content that answers specific questions that consumers search for, and then integrate your conversational commerce tools to make that next step, that next point of contact, that welcome to that page more embracing. We're going to be talking about the uplift in total lead conversion or total sales opportunities next week about the specific topic of adding conversational commerce to your website and getting rid of forms. So should those pages remain in the sitemap? Absolutely. You mean all of those indexed random pages? Well, the problem with that, Tony, is the sitemap is being generated by the website company. So you really today don't have too much worry about the sitemap. When you add content, you'll notice what I did for Vera. Notice I put Auto Service Center, and then it had the pages. I don't like long menus, so you can add 10 pages to service. You don't have to have a 15 choice menu. You can bury them through a one level down, and the pages that you add should be in your main navigation for sure. They just shouldn't be added or forced into the sitemap. They should be part of the main navigation for sure. Such as 2018 vehicle landing pages. Great. So here's what I'm going to suggest. Tony, I think I try to be common sense and sustainable. The average dealer will grow tired of doing year, make, model pages. If they would be able to do it and do it well, then yes, I'd keep them there, because in the first year, they're new car pages, and the second and third and fourth year, they become used car pages. And that's exactly what all of the third-party portals do. They have a whole directory tree of year, make, model. And the content that they wrote about those vehicles are super well organized. And if you do a search like a 2017 Ford F-150 review, boom, you'll see that directory structure on Edmunds or whatever is super clean and easy for Google to find. But I will tell you that depending on general managers coming and going, they may not sustain a year, make, model strategy. That's why at least the make, model strategy. So if you're a Toyota dealer and you have 20 models, that you build those 20 pages with really great content, you could put the SRP plugin to give some inventory, and those evergreen pages can then stand through different administrations. The key here is that when you change website platforms, you should keep a record of all the custom content pages you built, so that can be transferred in the website cutover. Did you find this conversation helpful? We talked about the alternative to automatic price markdowns based on third-party market-based tools, and the education that you've received that pricing is your only lever. And then we talked about the new connections or new strategies to combine GMB to your website. So I hope you found this helpful. I want to encourage you that if you have not registered for the AAA Summit, let me give you a little incentive. We have over 500 automotive professionals already registered. We're rocking it. And we're going to have about 100 in Mexico, 100 to 50 in Italy, about 200 in Holland. That's on top of that 500. So we're going to be close to 1,000 people. All of the content is going to be up until the end of January. If you purchase a ticket today, I will give you a 2-for-1. Someone else from your dealership or dealer group can come as well. All you need to do is register today. This is just for today for people who are in Lunch and Learn. If you register, you could shoot me an email, brian@brianpash.com, and say, I registered today and I'd like to add a second person. So buy one ticket and then send me an email, brian@brianpash.com, and I will give that second person in your same dealer group a opportunity to attend. Why is that important? Well, you can have 2 people in the live stream, 2 people taking notes. Then remember, you can play back any of these keynotes or panels or workshops with other members of your team until the end of January. So you can get through the busy selling season and then really lie in to the content. I think that the content we have lined up for the AAA Summit is like a master class in automotive retail. We're going to be talking about all marketing. We're going to talk about retailing and merchandising. We're going to be talking about pricing strategies. We're going to be talking about the latest breakthroughs in OTT video. And then we're really going to give you some cool shopping opportunities. We're doing 4 face-offs. We're pitting the best OTT video companies against each other, the best website companies, the best digital retailing, and the best marketing automation companies together. You can literally attend a session, see multiple presentations, and see which company is a great fit for you. That is an opportunity that no one else has really done well. And wait till you see these presentations. They have upped their game. So what are you waiting for? You can go to the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit, and let me just put a link in this discussion box here. Let me get that there. It's always interesting trying to work a mouse from different, oh, there it is. Control C. There definitely in the future has to be better streaming tools for sure. There we go. Okay, well, this is a one-man show today. So that's the link. George said, for what it's worth, sitemaps are not required in order for search engines to crawl your site. However, since you see them listed in Google Search Console, they certainly can help. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Sitemaps are really good diagnostic tool. If you go into Search Console, you definitely want to see that the sitemap is being crawled. And if the sitemap says it only has 12 pages, well, then you know the sitemap file got corrupted. But Google is sophisticated now that it doesn't need a sitemap to find the pages. And that's why the site command is so inflated because the bot is really going through every virtual combination of those checkboxes on your SRP, and that's what's inflating the pages, and that's why I call it a false friend. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to finish up doing some recording for the AAA Summit next week. Thanks so much. I'm sorry if there was an echo. I still don't understand if that was still persisting or a short time thing. Maybe I'll ask George or Tony. Was the echo still happening? I'll have to go back and listen to it. Hey, thanks so much. And do me a favor, share that link for the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. Encourage your peers, the other people in your dealer group, to really invest in themselves with this master class in automotive retail. Thanks, and have a great day.